Guys, welcome back to part two. I'm going to pick up where we left off from our last video where we were saying that the United States never joined the League of Nations and never signed the treaty. You can find that on page 456. But I want to move on to 457 and show how the United States is going to get involved with the reparations. Because although the United States comes out on top, they actually are the number one country in the world after World War One, and it shows with the reparations, and then they're going to get involved and they're going to kind of come about in this cycle that we're going to talk about. But it all hinges on Germany because Germany was forced to pay the reparations. But how much did they determine Germany was supposed to owe? On page 257, you can see the number comes out to not 5 billion. You see that number there. But then that's what they originally said. But they actually came back and said, no, 32 billion. After everything was added in, they said $32 billion. If any of you have $32 billion, please share at least like a million of it with me. You know how much $1 million is compared to $32 billion? That's like a dollar to us. That if you have $100, it's like 50 cents. It's like nothing. Well, yeah, I have plenty. Can you imagine $32 billion that Germany is supposed to pay? They're like, they're a country. They have plenty of money. Yeah, but they were just destroyed by a war. And they lost the war. So, and they lost their territory. They lost their military. What can they do? Where are they going to get these $32 billion? Well, they're going to struggle. So you're like, oh, just print money. It's okay. Just print $32 billion and you're good. That's not how it works. The problem whenever you print money is the money loses its value. And I know this isn't money. Okay, I don't have money. Sad. Anyway, let's say this was $100, right? With this $100, you could buy 100 candy bars. Now, the more you print of these, and the more people have of this, the less value it has. So if I'm gonna go to a store and I'm like, I want 100 candy bars, um, some guy's like, whoa, that's $100. That's pretty impressive. Now, if there's inflation, major inflation, then $100 could go all the way down to, and like in Germany at this time, maybe go all the way down to the worth of what in our minds would be a dollar. So now that candy bar, because of inflation, that candy bar is now worth $100 because everyone has these $100. If you saw $100 laying down on the sidewalk right now, you would be shocked, and you're like, looking both ways. No one's here. Oh, that's fine. But if there was $1 on the sidewalk, you'd be like, someone dropped $1. You may not even pick it up. You're like, that's gross. Probably has a virus on it. Like, it's not worth it. If it was $100, you'd be like, $100 is worth the virus, right? I don't know, maybe, but there's major value, right? But with the inflation going on in Germany at this time, that $100 is now worth like a dollar. In fact, it got so bad to where it was cheaper to burn the paper money in your cooking stove. Now they didn't have electric stoves. Most people didn't. So you actually put firewood in your stove, burn it, and that's how you got the stove Honda. Well, it got so bad to where there was so much paper money floating around that it was cheaper. Like you would use less money to actually stick money in the stove and burn it than actually take that money and go buy firewood. That's crazy. You would literally have to take a wheelbarrow full of money to go buy groceries. It was that bad in Germany because of the repercussions and the reparations that Germany had to pay. Now, if Germany's not able to pay their loaners, which was England and France, England and France are desperate and they took out loans. Who did they take out loans from? The United States. In fact, on 457, you can see the cycle, right? If Germany doesn't pay the Allies, and the Allies can't pay the US, and back and forth, and the United States is going to try and help Germany, right? So if Germany can't pay the Allies, then the Allies can't pay the US. So the US is going to try and pay Germany to try and get some of that money. It's weird. Well, none of it actually happens, and Germany was not paying their bills for a long time. And finally, United States is like, okay, let's just put a pause on it. Hoover says it because about Hoover's time is the Great Depression, and really the whole world is experiencing depression at this time, and it's really going to cause this major um, world depression, if you will. But really we're not going to see it come out until the end of World War II. But we see Germany trying to make peace with France, especially along its borders, France and Belgium, I should say, that they're going to finally establish what their borders are. And look at this, promise not to go to war except for self-defense. So we're trying to completely outlaw war. In fact, we're going to see the next pact, and that's just the last statement. We're going to see major steps to outlaw war. One is disarmament. So we hear this policy, we hear this idea floating around today. If you take away weapons, you'll take away fighting. Well, in this push for disarmament, this putting down of arms or your weapons, then the Washington Naval Conference is going to be the biggest push for disarmament. So I want to show what this is. Don't worry about Kellogg. Okay, that's not the guy from Frosted Flakes. Relax. Don't pause and go get Frosted Flakes. Okay, I know stuff. I know the temptation is there. Do you guys even like Frosted Flakes? Do you guys know what Frosted Flakes are? Or know what Kellogg is? It's a cereal. Okay. Anyway, getting distracted. I'm gonna have to go eat some cereal after this. But we're almost done. This is our last slide, I believe. So, the Washington Naval Conference. The three countries I want you to know is Britain, United States, and Japan. Now, this gets crazy, and this is weird. Britain and United States and Japan all agree to limit the number of warships that they can build. That they say, okay, we, the main countries of the world, yes, Japan was on our side during World War I. The reason why they're on the Axis in World War II is because they weren't happy with how World War I ended. They thought they should have gotten more. Japan always wants more because think of how big Japan is. They always want more land. Well, these three countries, these are the big countries of the world, they're gonna show an example of disarmament and say, listen, we're gonna put down some of our weapons. Not all, but some. Look at what they agreed to. This is on page 458. It says, they established a ratio by which to limit the warships. So they decided Britain could have 5 tons. The United States could have 5 tons. Okay, they're equal. So Japan should have 5 tons. No, Japan has 3 tons. Imagine how Japan's going to feel about that. Now, look what happened with the conference. The conference is going to fail. That's very important because they can't reach an agreement on how to limit the submarines and the smaller warfare. So we're going to have this idea to disarm and to not build as many weapons, but it's not going to be successful because we can't reach an agreement. And we're going to see this blow up in our faces when Japan starts to get aggressive in the east. So Japan is not going to hold to this law. They're only going to hold to it whenever it's convenient for them. So the last push for peace is this Kellogg brand pact. Now, this is not like the brand Kellogg. I know that's what it sounds like. But essentially, what this pact says, and no, I took the quote away. But you can see the quote under the pact on 458. It says, the civilized nations of the world, and a common renunciation of war as an instrument of their national policy. Renunciation. I'm sorry. So they're going to say, we are not going to have war anymore. We're going to make war illegal. That's essentially what the pact declares, that war is illegal. Let's see how long this lasts, because just several years down the road, 1939, we're going to see Adolf Hitler come onto the world stage, and World War II will begin. So the Kellogg-Briand Pact does not last very long, but it's one attempt to finish war. After all, they said, World War One was the war to end all wars. So let's see what happens. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.